First, I'm going to turn off the construction layer so you can see exactly what we're doing. So we'll start on with this view here, the front view, and then the top and the right side section. I have a construction layer for each object, so I'm going to put on construction layer 2 and begin with that. Somewhere right over here. Okay, so the block is 2.688 across. Offset its width there. You can divide that by 2. Probably the best way to do it. Or you can look at the dimension, which is 2 and 11/16, and half of that would be 1 and 11/32. So another way to do it. Either way, I've provided the decimals for you, so it's probably easier just to use them. And 2.688 divided by 2 is 1.344. So that'll be our offset. 1.344. Both sides. Okay. Next vertical line offset would be the hole going through the whole thing. We are told that is 1.25 in diameter, 1¼ inches in diameter, which would make it 5/8 radius. So that's our offset. Oh, enter 5/8 or 0.625. Okay. So those are the big ones. We also have a little 16th chamfer to do on the end. That's pretty minor. Let's go offsetting in the other direction. From the bottom up, it's 1/4 inch. That's this little full thickness disc on the bottom. So that's a 0.25 inch offset upward. And then there are a few lines in here. So the initial offset, like I was saying, is the chamfer, which you really don't even need to do. But the next offsets we're going to do are going to locate the teeth, these teeth that hold the wedge. So the teeth are really the part of this project that is of any difficulty. And we'll get to those real quick here. Let's just draw the outside of this so we get a basic sense of what's going on. Take my rectangle and just go corner to corner. And let me get that on the right layer for you. And then the hole itself, of course. And those are going to be with hidden lines. That's a couple of prominent features there. The overall size and the hole going through it. The other thing that's pretty significant is this big cutout, which was really evident in the side view. In the front view, it is pretty much impossible to draw as it is with what we have right now. And the reason for that is that its width comes from the top view. So these lines right here that are, this line right here that I have highlighted right there, it is given to us by the intersection of this horizontal line in the top view, which is 3/16 from the center line down. So that's how that point is located. I don't know what that distance is in this view here, going this way. I mean, I could measure it, but that wouldn't be an accurate way to draw it. So we'll have to wait to do that line until we've got the top view created. Okay, so we can real quick here do the chamfer, but you know, we've been putting off the inevitable for too long. We got to do these teeth. Let me zoom in on them just to show you exactly what this looks like real close up here. So we'll do this chamfer. That's no big deal. But the big thing, these teeth. And basically we have to offset downward to this line here, which is the top of the teeth. And we're also given this line here, which is the bottom of the teeth. And then we're given the angles. So we'll go through creating these lines right now. Zoom out and we'll get to that. First thing I'm going to do here, though, is complete this chamfer, just for fun. The chamfer is under the fillet command there. And if you haven't given it a size, you're going to say distance. You're going to type D, enter. And you're going to type in 1/16 or 0.063. And then I type it in again, or just hit the enter button again. And so once it has both distances, you can just click on either line and then get your chamfer. So the chamfer tool is fun, and that's how you do it. Just click the chamfer tool there, and then type D, enter for distance, and then enter in both of the leg distances. Okay, the teeth. The teeth begin 23-30 seconds down from the top, as you can see from the drawing, and then the trough that is on both sides of them is another 16th down. Let's just worry about the top of the teeth right now. We'll deal with the trough in just a moment. So yeah, we're getting asked a question from William Haas in the studio. Yes. 30 seconds. Yeah, if you follow that extension line out, you'll see it intersects the 2 1/4 extension line, which then goes to the center mark of the very top there. Just follow it out to its point of intersection. It also intersects with the 2 11/16 diameter line. So those are all coming off the top surface. It does look like it hits that corner of the chamfer. I mean, it absolutely does, but it continues past that. So thank you for pointing that out. You know, the other thing is when there is any confusion on these things, is to think about it in a sense. Well, what would make more sense if you were actually measuring it? You know, it would not be easy to measure it from that chamfer, but it would be considerably easier to measure it from the top of the block. So if things are questionable, just think about, hey, what would make more sense if I was doing this? You know, if I was making it, what would make more sense? And you guys know that on many of these drawings, I've had to make judgment calls where it absolutely wasn't clear, and I'm just like, I don't know, it's toss up kind of thing. So sometimes you have to do that. But in the real world, if you weren't certain, it would be a call to the engineer. You couldn't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna guess, you know. Not when there's lots of money at stake. If you don't know, it's a call to the engineer. You just got to stop what you're doing, work on some other project. Okay. Well, anyway, let's offset that line. So O, enter. 23-30 seconds from the top line down. There it is. Okay, so that guy is marking the top of the teeth, and that is a significant thing. And the top of the teeth are going to progress upward at an angle of 14 degrees. So let's get that line in place. It's a construction line. And you're going to type XL, enter, and A, enter. And then it's a negative 14 because it's pointing downward. And then you're going to click right on the intersection, okay? So that is our first angled line, negative 14. And then we're given a couple more angled lines. We're given the fact that the teeth, their sides are 50 degrees up from this line that we just created, and there are on both sides, and there's 80 degrees in between them. I made a little graphic for you beforehand just to help visualize this. So this negative 14 degree line is the one we just made. There it is. And then between it and the edge of the tooth is 50 degrees. And then the size of the valley between the teeth is 80 degrees. So that's what they're telling us. This distance between here and here is like the valley between the teeth. And then from the baseline, it's 50 degrees up on both sides. So anyway, the angles of the lines you would type in to get this are these right here. You've already done the first one, negative 14. And then the remaining are going to be 36, 76, and 116. So if you just do those, 36, 76, and 116, I've already done the math for you. You're welcome. So let's do that over here. Get back over here. And we'll type XL, enter, A, enter, and this value, our next one, will be 36. There it is. I'm going to turn off my nearest snap. And you're like, how does that always come on, Mr. Howard? You're always turning it off. How is it getting turned on? It's because when I'm doing dimensions, man, it makes life a lot easier. Next angle, 76. And the last one, 116. There they are. So again, that was negative 14 on this guy, of course, horizontal. Then that guy was 36. That guy was 76. And this guy, 116. Okay, so we've got all the angled lines in place. The next line of significance is how wide the teeth are. So we are told that there are 20 teeth per inch, which means that each tooth, that means 20 teeth, fit in 1 inch. So each one is 1/20th of an inch. So 1 divided by 20, that would be your fraction, or the decimal is 0.05. So that's how wide they are. So this line right here, this perpendicular line, perpendicular to the line that the teeth are on, okay? So this red one is that I'm about to make a red is the line that the teeth are on. That's an important line. The teeth are 50 thousandths wide. So I'm going to offset that guy right there, which is perpendicular, 50 thousandths. So O, enter, 0.05. And there he is. That right there is 1 tooth width. Let me zoom in on it. So this distance right here, 0.05 between those two, that represents a single tooth for us. Okay? So we have this point of intersection right here that we've got all lines intersecting at as the start of the tooth. And then we've got this perpendicular line that we just created as the end of the tooth. So the tooth goes in here, in between these two lines. We've got one side of it here. There it is. And we just need the other side of it. So really what we need to do is, you see this line that we made here, is just move it on over to there. Watch this. I'm just going to grab its center point I'm just going to scoot it on over to there. And that's a tooth. And I'll do that on I'll trace it on my hidden layer so that you can see it. And because it actually is hidden in this view, that's a tooth. You got one. Yay. Now you got to make 40. So you want to see that one more time? All I did was take this angled line. I believe that was our 36-degree line. And I just moved it over, grabbed its midpoint, and just clicked on the other side of where the tooth ends there. And then traced it in my hidden layer. Okay, so that's a full tooth. Now here's a little issue. This red line that we created is the top of the teeth. So our teeth are a little off right now. We need to move them down. We need to move this down. So this point is actually there, right? There's a number of ways you could do it. If you were trying to be super accurate, you would do what I'm about to do. But the truth is you could just eyeball this pretty easily. It's a pretty short distance. But to do it perfectly accurately, watch this. I'm going to make a construction line, or just copy this one. Copy this red one. Grab it anywhere, and then put it right on top of the tooth. There it is. And then just move everything from there to there. So move, M, enter. Grab this stuff, enter, and move it from there to there. Just this one common point to another. So there you go. That's the tooth created exactly as it is, placed exactly as it ought to be. And now I'm gonna copy it. So copy CO, enter, copy its two legs, and grab the one that's further to the right and copy it to the one that's further to the left. And continue onward. Just continue on, up, up, up and up. And I just need to get it till it comes over this hole. There it is. And then I can trim that off. I need to do the same with the other side. So I'm going to copy this, all of this stuff, copy it, select it all. And watch the point that I copy it from, because this is significant. I'm going to copy it from where the side here intersects the red line, okay? So that's my base point, right there, where the side intersected the red line. And I'm going to scoot on over, following that red line up to where it intersects the other side of the hole, and click on that because that represents the side. That's the side where it hits the red line. Same place. Boom. Get rid of that little top piece there. And so you can see if you follow it up, it did what it's supposed to. It's hanging out the edge a little bit. We'll trim that little piece off. And the same on this side, we can trim that little piece off. Oh my goodness, the teeth are done. Hallelujah, hallelujah. They're a little bit of trouble. I'll zoom out a little bit. You can see them in their entirety. There you go. Of course, that red line is really just a construction line. I'll put that back. Put that back on construction. So that represents the top of the teeth. The line that represents the bottom of the teeth, you remember, is another 1/16 of an inch down. It's not a 1/16 of an inch offset, so don't do that. Don't offset this angled line because it's it's straight down. So we need to offset the horizontal line straight down 1/16 of an inch. And let's do that. Oh, enter. 1/16, 1/16, or 0.063. And I'm going to take that horizontal line and offset it downward. So that, right off the drawing, represents where the same 14-degree line intersects the side. So let's zoom in on that. And we're going to have to make a copy. So that 14-degree line, I'm going to copy it from anywhere. That's fine. And then put it where that line we just made intersects the wall, the side. There it is. So that distance right there was 1/16 of an inch. And now we have this 14-degree line that represents the bottom of the threads. So I can move out and highlight that. And it's just from one edge of the hole to the side of this thing. There you go. That's all there is to that. We're doing pretty good. Okay. So, moving on. Top view. We'll come back and we'll do that scoop and finish off the bevel that's attached to it when we get this top view, after we get this top view done. So let's do that. Top view, please. I'm going to line it up with my other one just for clarity. I'm also going to get rid of these angled lines. I don't need them anymore. So there is the hole, of course, and here is the outside diameter of our part. Prominent features. The next real prominent feature that we just talked about doing was the scoop. So let's create the lines that give us that. They are 13/16 offset right off the drawing. So offset O, enter 13/16. I think I'm just going to do the one side and then mirror it. Okay. The what else can we do? We can do the chamfer, so we can acknowledge that. That's a 16th inch offset. O, enter 1/16. So we'll take that circle and go in 1/16. All right. Did I go in or out? Now I don't know. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Check that out. Oh, Z, enter W. Huh, that's kind of what I thought. I offset in the wrong direction. Okay. So this line right here is the line that goes across here, just like that. And I can trim this piece away now. Okay. And then where these lines intersect this line, I can project downward where that scoop is. So I'm going to copy a vertical line here and go right over to that point of intersection right there. I could do the same to the other side or mirror it. And that's the outside edge there. So now I can come down and with an object line say, yeah, it's basically here. The scoop pretty much goes like this. We know that's its outer edge. It comes down here and then curves inward like this, right? We're told it has a 1.5 inch curvature to it. And that we're going to get from the other side, from this view over here. It would be, again, it would be very difficult to draw that arc, but at least we got the sides of it in place now, and we know it goes in here. All right, so we'll come back to that. Isn't that funny how you get these different pieces of information from different views? They're all tied together. Okay. What's next for the top view? The teeth, right? Let's check it out. So we need to put the teeth in here. The width of the teeth off the drawing are 3/8, and then the additional width for the trough there that goes on each side of them is 17/32. Okay? And I have those dimensions for you in this view right here as decimal, so in this side view. So if you would like to just use those numbers, you can. Of course, you're going to have to divide them by 2 for the offset. So here we go. O, enter. Half of 3/8 is 3/16 on both sides. So there it is. That's the width of the teeth. And then to get the trough, it was 17/32 total. So half of that, 17/64 on each side. There it is. There are the width for your teeth right there. Let's zoom in on tight on, I don't know, how about this upper portion right here? So we know the teeth are going to go in here. What are they going to look like? What do the teeth look like from the top view? Okay, well, this side portion doesn't look like anything, as you can see. It just looks like 2 lines. So that's pretty easy. We just got a line going from here to there and from there to there. Boom. And you can trim out the little bit in the middle here. Like that. And you can get rid of this while we're at it. There you go. Do the same with the other side since we're trimming. Take care of that. Okay. And I don't know if you want to just do this all now. I think I'm just going to do this all now. Do the other one too. All right. And then all we need are the vertical lines that represent the top of the teeth. And the bottom of the teeth, actually. The crest and the root, formal names for them. You might hear someone say the peak and the valley, like a mountain, but it's the crest and the root. So let's project some lines up there, and let's get the crest and root in place. We'll go to our construction layer, or just copy an existing one, and start clicking on crests and roots. So that's what I'm doing. And it might help to zoom in on that just to make sure you're not messing it up, right? Yeah, it was going all right. And after you get a few in place, you can draw the lines up here and then just copy it. So you don't have to watch. I'm going to show you how easy this is. And it's fun. You can see the difference because they're at an angle looking straight down from the top. The one side is definitely closer together than the other, as opposed to looking at them perpendicular to them. Anyway, let's draw the one here. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy that. So check it out. I made those two lines, and I'm going to select both of them. And I'm just going to copy from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Yeah, there they go. That was pretty easy. And now I'm just going to copy those, all of them out. So check this out. So I'm going to C-O, enter, and I'm going to select all of those. And I am just going to go from where the one ends to where the other would begin to preserve that space, the larger space there. There you go. And then if you got any extras, you can delete them or trim them as necessary. That worked out pretty nice. That is a weird anomaly occurring here. something something is off. Look at this. Why is this one sticking out and then it's not sticking out down here? Oh, I gotcha, because I need to trim those, of course. So here we go. TR, enter, and just get rid of this stuff. I went too far. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So now I got the one side done. I'm just going to mirror it to the other. And we'll just select all this stuff here and just say MI from one side to the other. Sweet. Zoom out. Looking pretty good. All I got to do is put this line in place on the other side. And trim that bit away. I'll turn off my construction line for that. Okay, so there's the top. Nice. Moving on to the right side view. Put these construction lines back on. And we can do a 45 here, just like I did before. Excel, enter, A, enter, 45. Or if you've already done it, just copy it. There you go. And then bounce those guys down. All right. So we are making this view here, the right side view. And because this thing is round, you could copy a lot of the stuff that is already here. You know, you could copy these guys. Definitely copy this outside line. We're not going to need the teeth, but so there's a few things that you could copy. I'll grab some of that. CO, enter, and just go from center line to center line. Looks like I missed a couple lines. No big deal. Just mirror those. Well, now I'm having trouble. Okay. what this line is. Okay. So a couple big things in this view. The one of significance is this big arc. So how do we make this big arc? We know it's a, oh gosh, I am just all over the place. Sorry, that belonged over here. But this line hits the 45, comes down. There it is. And I'm just going to mirror that to the other side. So don't pay any attention to that. I'll do the same with the bottom piece. Just mirror that to the other side. So how do we put this this arc in? We know it's tangent to this line right here, and then it hits this bottom, and that's where it cuts off. So it's definitely tangent to this line, and then when it hits that bottom point, we trim it. We also know its size. It's 1.5 inch radius. So in order to be tangent to this line, it's going to have to be 1.5 inches away. So if we offset this line 1.5 inches, right there, there it is. This line, I offset 1.5 inches. That's the line, that's the vertical axis of its center. I don't know the horizontal axis of its center. I have no idea. And but I do know how to find it. So let's make the circle first. So anywhere on this line, really, just anywhere, click on it, and then pull it out to where it just touches that guy. So he's tangent to it. All right. So now we just need to locate it vertically. We need to move its center so that its edge goes through this point just perfectly, right? Look what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put a construction line there. So that point right there where the circle's edge hits this vertical line, if that was there, we would be good. So I'm just going to move it from there to there. So M, enter, pick the circle, and grab that point where the vertical line hits its intersection, and then just move it up to there. And that is exactly where we want it. So we'll trim it to that. And we'll trim this side as well. Get a little bit out. And then just delete the rest of it. That's it. And then we can just get rid of all this stuff. Trim that out. Trim this out. Erase this. Don't need this anymore. And then we'll make the other side look just like it. So let's mirror that. MI, enter. We'll mirror all this stuff. And then trim these out as well. Awesome. So going back to the front view, and I'm going to get rid of these construction lines because they're kind of in the way now. Going back to the front view, we know the scoop is in here somewhere. We just didn't know how high it went up to, but now we do. It goes up to the end point of this arc, which happens to be right around here somewhere. Let's zoom in on it. So, you know what? I've got a little extra hanging off there. I'm going to trim that little bit because it cut to that line when it should have cut the tangent. There we go. So the end point of that arc is right there. And I'll just copy this nearby construction line and put it at the end point. There it is. And zoom out. So that bottom line right there, that one I just made, represents the start of the curve. And so the curve just kind of naturally scoops into here and comes back out. We have another opportunity for a start, end, and end arc. So I can go to my arcs and choose start, end, radius, and say I want it to start here, I want it to end there, and pick the direction. That's the wrong way. So if you do it again and go the other way, let's try that. So click on the top one, then click on the bottom, and then there you go. And you can get that just right. And you can bend that to where it looks, you don't want the arc coming out past the line over here. You want it just tangent. So you can eyeball this, but I think that's looking pretty good right there. So there you go. You got its start, you got its end, and then we'll just mirror that. There you go. I guess I clicked the wrong point. I can just move it over. Okay. And if you feel like the intersection of them is too pointy down here, you could actually fillet those. That is a doable thing. I think if you if you really want to try that, if you go to fillet, or you could just stretch them out. You know, you could just pull that up a smidge. Put on my nearest snap, and you could grab this grip and stretch that up a smidge, and then make the other one match to there. That might smooth them out a little bit, and then drag them down, move them together. There you go, just to make that look a little more smooth. And then we can trim these corners out. Delete this. Okay. So how are we looking? Front view is nearly done. We just need to put the little bevel across the top. So let's do that. This little bevel piece here from corner to corner. All right. And then trim that out in here. And just delete that one. Okay. You can actually bevel that. If you look on the real one, that bevel continues. So you can use your bevel chamfer command and do these guys here. Check it out. Like that. Of course, it wipes out the other one. So you might want to put in a sacrificial piece there, as I just did, so that you can then chamfer to that. There you go. And now I got to mirror the other side. No problem. Mirror these things so many times, it's kind of funny. Don't know what I did there. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Sorry. Okay, zooming out. So it looks like the front is totally complete. The top, let's look at that top view. That's interesting. Looks like I trimmed the wrong piece there. Grab that line and drag it across. It was this upper one that needed to be trimmed. Okay, top view is totally complete. And we'll just finish up this right side view now. I think we're ready to finish this guy. We've got everything we need, and that is just what these teeth would look like head on. Similar to the top view, we're just going to show the tops of the teeth here, okay? So just to draw out this, the main trough here. So the main trough would look like something like this, right? And then, oops. And then the tops of the teeth, who knows? Something like that. I'll just put that there temporarily. Okay. Right. So that is that. And now we need to show where the teeth are as they climb up this sort of a stairway, right? The stairway here. So let's zoom in on that. This lower piece here. Get rid of that guy. I don't need this one here, but I can move it. So I'm going to move it to where the teeth starts at the bottom, and copy it to where it goes to at the top. Top of the tooth, top of the tooth, top of the tooth. You know, this keeps going all the way to this point here. Okay. So that's the bottom of the tooth, and then the rest of them are just tops. So if I scoot over, there it is. It's this one that's the bottom of the teeth. And this line I just put here randomly. So that's the bottom of the teeth. And then these are all the tops. And this line, I'll just stretch till it gets to that point. So if I draw one line here, I should stretch this one up too. I don't know why that's short. I should be able to just copy it. So here's one going across. I'll put that in a few spots there, and then I'm just going to copy all of them. Pick all those guys from there to there and to there. Perfect. So that made it a little easier. So that, as long as you don't click on the wrong thing, gosh darn it, is a quick way to do that. Just be careful what you're clicking on when you got that nearest snap-on. Get rid of these two. Awesome. Okay, so that's the first stairwell. And that edge right there represents the hole. You know, the hole, we hit the hole and then they stop because you're in empty space here, right? You do need to show the bottom of the trough where it hits the wall though. So let's zoom in on that and see what I'm talking about. So if you zoom in on this guy, where this line is the bottom of the trough and where it hits, let's create a line that we can just trim. Um, I'll make that an object line and then we can just trim it. Okay, so that's the bottom of the trough where it hits the hole, and we would see that in zooming out this view here. So that would be it right there, and it would only be from this point to this point. So if I turn off my construction lines, there you go, and then we just trim away. And then delete. Okay, so there you go. That's that. Of course, oh yes, and the piece in the middle would be trimmed away too. So this is what I'm talking about here. There you go. All right. So you got those teeth. Oh my God. Why did it trim away the other side? Weird. Ay, ay, ay. Why did it do that? Okay. Staying this time. Okay. So what is left? The upper half of the stairwell, which is basically the exact same thing as this. So I just need to know where it starts, and then I can copy all this to it. So if I draw I'll just use an object line from the bottom here, and say that's the bottom. So I could just copy all this stuff, CO, enter, and say from that point to that point there, same exact looking thing. And then just pull that off. Okay. If I turn my line weight off, you should, yes, now you can see these, the detail a bit better. Chamfer on the side remains, and then the section view. So let's knock that out real quick. Let's do this chamfer. Nothing to that. So to do this section view, we pretty much just copy the front view. Try to line it up with this one. Put your center lines on, you can do that. I'm not even going to bother at this point. Just going to place it approximately on center, but you would definitely want to get it right on center. You're going to make a cutting line. So of course with the phantom layer, you're going to, but here's the thing, we're not cutting through the middle, we're cutting through that trough, just somewhere in that trough right there. And the reason is I want to be able to show the side of the trough, so the bottom of the trough. So if we cut right through the middle, this bottom line would not be evident, and then we would not be able to dimension to it. And we want to be able to put in that 0.063 dimension. I mean, the whole point of doing the section view is so that we can put in these dimensions here. So I want to show that little trough besides the teeth. It's really significant. It serves, it serves several purposes in the real world. So we don't want to pretend it's not there. Anyway, you'd make your cut line here, and of course your leaders. You can use the leader technique, or you can just make it. I just drew that really fast actually. But as far as the section view is concerned here, what do we got to do to make that? Well, we got to make a lot of stuff object lines. We got to get rid of anything that's on the outside, right? So to get rid of stuff that's on the outside, we'll just select these guys, delete them, because don't need that. Lost part of my I'm going to create, check this out. I'm just going to mirror that back really fast. Mirror that stuff about this line. Find the midpoint of this and just go up. Excellent. So now I got that back. And make everything object, everything object. Okay. And then fill in with section lines. We go to our hatch, right? And click inside here. You might want to make that less. I left it where it was, but you might want to make it finer. And hit OK. And I think that's pretty much it. It is now ready for dimensioning. So again, the final view for the block is going to look like that right there.